You're listening to a CNA podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Climate Conversations. I'm your host, Julie Yu. Who would buy over 100 CDs when they don't even own a CD player? Well, K-pop fans. For some of these fans, showing loyalty and support often means purchasing merchandise in large bulk orders. And beneath the surface of the glitz, glamour, sold-out concerts, and stunning visuals, there's a lesser-known truth, the issue of overconsumption and significant amount of waste. But today, I have two special guests who aim to tackle this wasteful behavior without losing any love for their idols. They are Nurul, Sarifah, and Dayeon Lee, both die-hard K-pop fans and also passionate climate activists. Together, they're the driving forces behind K-pop for Planet, a movement that's been campaigning for greener ways to enjoy the music of superstars like BTS and Blackpink since 2021. Nurul, Dayeon, thank you so much for joining me on the Climate Conversations.
Thanks, Julie, for inviting us.
Thank you for having us.
Now, before we talk about climate change, I want to know what initially got you into K-pop. Nurul, let me start with you.
Yeah, so at first I was actually interested in K-dramas, not K-pop. And then I watched one of them and then it made me bump into an actor that turns out to be an idol from the EXO. And then I fell in love instantly with him and then he got me interested with K-pop more because I feel like there's a different vibe with the music that I usually listen. So it was the long journey of my K-pop history.
And Dayeon, as a fellow Korean, being from a slightly different generation, I can tell, I'm sure you might not be familiar with some of the K-pop idols that I used to like, but I'm curious to know what attracted you to K-pop and the fandom culture surrounding it.
I got into the K-pop world when I was an elementary school student.
Oh.
In South Korea, there are a lot of music programs like Music Bank, Inkigayo, and so on. So when I turned on the television after school, I naturally watched that kind of idol groups' performances.
Right.
And now I am 10 years old and I'm still listening to K-pop music and huge fan of aespa.
So let's dive into the intersection of K-pop and climate activism. Nurul, what motivated you to get K-pop for Planet started? Because when most people think of K-pop, climate change isn't the first thing that comes to mind.
Agree. And then also climate crisis and K-pop is a two different thing, which is very tricky to find the connections between. But then again, I bumped into this bright personality person, which is Dayeon. We met from a friend of mine from an environmental organizations in Korea. And then we found out that we both actually enjoy the same music, which is K-pop. And then we ended up sharing our worries about the climate crisis. And that's how Dayeon and I get into each other. And then we think, okay, then let's create one related to K-pop and also climate. I think it's a good thing that we can share this space coming from our worriness about the climate crisis, but also coming from our care with the K-pop and also the environment.
Dayeon, how about you? Why was it important for you to be an advocate for sustainability?
I was also interested in climate issues when I was a high school student because at that time there were a lot of newspaper articles talking about that issues. So I thought maybe I need to do some climate action as a person who lives on the earth. So I joined the environmental organization where youth can do some action actively. So through this organization, I got contacted from Nurul, and I heard that she's finding a Korean activist who is also interested in K-pop. And I thought, oh, that's me. So I think there was no reason not to start the K-pop for Planet because K-pop for Planet is an amazing place where I can do both angling and climate action.
Okay. Tell me more about how you guys are raising awareness about climate change through your platform or some of the environmental initiatives that the fans have undertaken in recent years.
There are some misconceptions about the fandom and also about the K-pop fans itself. Like people were thinking that we were just fangirling and then hyping our idols and doing nothing else. Like there are several ways of the movement from coming from the K-pop fans, not only environmental, like social issue, health issues. They also doing this kind of things in the name of solidarity. and also showing their love with their fandom. Like, for example, for the environmental side, fans were actively like planting trees, they were adopting animals, and also they are fundraising to help the conservations of the forest. This is a collective movement coming from the K-pop fans. They were using their voice in solidarity to raise awareness of the important issues. So that's also one of the reasons why we think K-pop for Planet can be a platform for the people like us that enjoy K-pop but also want to do something together.
So when you first tried to get people to join a lot of these campaigns and activities, what was the response like? Were the fans up for it?
I used to engage with K-pop fans in South Korea. And I think some of them are already aware of the climate issues and some problems in the K-pop industry. So when I launched the No K-pop on That Planet campaign and talked to them that we are doing this kind of campaign and activities, like most of them appreciated us for launching this kind of campaign because they also have thought that they need to do some action against the K-pop industry, like K-pop entertainment companies, but they had no idea where to start and what they should do. So when we launched this No K-pop on That Planet campaign, they really said this is the activity that they have wanted so far.
Yeah, let's just deep dive into some of those issues that you guys are trying to tackle or improve. I mean, what worries you guys the most?
Most of the discussions among the fans is usually coming from the albums thing. It's very saddening on how we see sometimes when the album sales is high, but at the same time, how the albums goes into the trash bin and also ended up on the street and then ended up thrown away. And it makes the albums waste from the K-pop industry, leading to also environmental impacts. There are several reasoning on why this is happening, like starting from the companies like regulations. They are counting the physical album sales to the chart. They also do the lucky draw fan signing events, which making the fans ended up have to buy more albums for a bigger change. And also there's multiple versions of the albums, like for one comeback, they can release into 7 versions for 7 different members or 9 different members. Imagine if NCT have 20 different multiple versions of albums. So multiple versions of albums were also one of the reasons. And then these come into the fans' worries and also discussions on how this K-pop industry is treating albums more for the sales and number and not an art anymore. So it's kind of saddening because we support our idols. We want to buy the albums because we know they put a lot of effort on making it. We on our No K-pop on a Dead Planet, we launched the No K-pop on a Dead Planet, where we are asking sustainable K-pop industry to provide green albums options for the fans to purchase. And in one of the actions that we have in front of the Hype headquarters, we have the quotes that art shouldn't ended up here. So it's more of the saying that the art that our idols is making shouldn't end up in the trash bin for their hard work.
Yeah, indeed. The overconsumption and the behavior of some diehard K-pop collectors and fans you just talked about. And Dayeon, I want to know how important is K-pop merchandise or collectibles are for fans.
There are a lot of merchandise in K-pop cultures. Like when we buy one single album, there are a lot of things in that album, like photo cards, and some posters, stickers, CD, that kind of things. But I think the one thing that the K-pop fans most want is the photo cards. Because
photo cards. Can you explain that to us?
Like if there is one K-pop idol group, there will be some members in that group. For example, if there are 5 members in the group, like each member take selfie themselves and make it into a photo card and put it into one single album randomly. And since all K-pop fans have different biases, they want to pick, like they want to take their biases photo card. But to get the photo card, they have to keep buying the same album multiple times.
Wow.
And the entertainment company knows that the K-pop fan wants to get the photo card. So some entertainment companies put more and more photo cards and make them keep buying the album over and over again.
I see. And, aside from CDs and merchandise, what about concerts?
Yeah, like when I have been to the K-pop concerts, I have seen that a lot of disposable things are used in the concert halls. Like for the water bottles and some slogans that are made from plastic or paper. that is only used for that concert once and then just throw it away. So I think that's the biggest problem, but I'm blaming the K-pop fans. I think the K-pop industry and K-pop entertainment company should be changed. Like actually for the K-pop for planning activities, we had done zero emission concert activities. Like we launched some online activities on our website that K-pop fans can visit our website and write down some letters to the K-pop entertainment companies and asking for the sustainable concerts. We did that because like Coldplay actually trying their best to make more sustainable concerts. So I got inspired by it because like K-pop is getting bigger and bigger.
That's right.
So I think the K-pop industry should be more responsible for that. And they have to try hard to make some sustainable concerts so that K-pop fans can enjoy the K-pop concerts for a long time.
Are you looking for ways to make your money work harder? Tips on saving, investing, or retiring early, perhaps? Or advice on big-ticket decisions like buying a house or owning a car? I'm Andrea Heng, host of CNA's top personal finance podcast, Money Talks. And these are some of the things we find out for you. Each week, I get a guest to share personal stories and answer burning questions that help you make sense of the latest financial trends. Go check out the complete Money Talks playlist on the CNA app, Spotify, Google, or Apple Podcasts.
But the good news is that there seems to be some green movement taking shape in the K-pop universe. I hear that YG and SM Entertainment are moving towards sustainable CD packaging. Victon is putting out a digital-only album. Do you see that sort of green movement or visual changes happening in the Korean music scene?
Yeah, like after we have done the No K-pop as planning campaign, we've observed some changes from the K-pop industry. Like as you mentioned, like Victon from ISD Entertainment was the first K-pop idol group that tried a digital album option. The one thing that I was concerned was that digital album was sold for only 1 week, not the permanent option. I think some entertainment companies are trying to like examine new methods to reduce the album waste. And I see that SM Entertainment and YG Entertainment are publishing their albums from sustainable materials. It is a kind of good change, like good attempt. And I don't want to call that greenwashing. The entertainment companies are trying to listening to what K-pop fans asking for them. But actually, the major demand of our NKDP campaign was creating green album option, which means like when K-pop fans try to buy some albums on online platform, there is an option that K-pop fans can choose how many albums they are actually going to receive, even though they pay same money. So we asked this one as our main demand, but none of the entertainment companies haven't tried this yet. So if the entertainment companies really think how K-pop fans think, I want to see they try this kind of green album option.
Speaking of influence, what do you think the role and influence of K-pop idols themselves should be? I mean, we saw BTS wearing, eco-friendly suits to the UN, for example. Nurul, do you think K-pop idols have a responsibility to use their platform to address these environmental issues?
It's more of like on how the idols, they choose to do positive things. They know like their influence. We know their influence as well. Like when they say something, the fans will follow, especially if it's a good thing. Like, for example, the UN speech from BTS is also inspired a lot of people, a lot of fans were on how they want to be the welcome generations and also how they care more about the climate crisis. Same thing goes with a couple of artists like Dreamcatcher. They release songs about the environmental and then it makes the fan understand that, oh yeah, this is dangerous. Like, this is happening now and then we have to do something. This is actually a great process compared to the last couple of years on how we didn't see that kind of things much, which means that the climate crisis is becoming one of the concerns from the idols as well and also from the industry.
Earlier you mentioned there are people with misconception about K-fandom, K-pop. Would you say the increased recognition of K-pop for Planet has helped fight those kind of stereotypes about K-pop fans?
Like when I had some interviews with media outlets in Korea, I always checked some reactions by checking some comments on YouTube or a news article. And I say that some people left some comments that they have thought that K-pop fans are just kind of group that just doing fangirling, but they didn't know that K-pop fans can create some positive effects, not only K-pop industry, but also other industry as well. So I think that by doing K-pop for Planet activities with K-pop fans around the world, I think we are breaking down some kind of misconceptions and stereotypes.
So ladies, looking forward, any plans in the pipeline?
So as for now, K-pop for Planet is now working on our Hyundai Drop Call campaign, where we are demanding like Hyundai, which is one of Korea's big automotive companies, to withdraw the buying aluminum from Indonesian coal mining companies Adaro, as long as they are planning to use coal. And after months of campaigning, we received like over 10,000 petition signature collected, and then we visit their iconic store in Jakarta with the message like we are too cute to die from the climate crisis, and then we are there to deliver the petitions and also adding a bit of spice, which is K-pop dance and also ARMY open letter. This is because Hyundai have a great sway over ARMY and also K-pop fans that is mostly coming from the youths. And we are very happy to receive a reply from Hyundai, which arrived on the 10th anniversary of BTS debut. And they were acknowledging our concerns and opening the door for future discussions and also conversations with us. So this will be our milestones in delivering the fans' concerns and also voices for the environment.
Yeah, now we are working on our next campaign that has to do with the luxury fashion industry. So I say that a lot of K-pop idols are enacted as the luxury brand's ambassadors, and a lot of K-pop fans get influenced by that. So we are planning to do some campaign, like talking to the luxury fashion brands.
So what kind of message do you have for listeners who may be inspired by your work, want to take action in their own commitments? Any tips for fangirling or fanboying sustainably?
I assume that there would be a lot of K-pop fans who are interested in K-pop culture, but also in the climate issues and doing some climate action. And I assume that some people might hesitate or not sure what kind of activities they should do for the environment. And for those people, I'd like to say that you guys do not have to worry. Just find us on social media like Twitter, Instagram. And if you guys follow us, we'll come up with some interesting and funny activities and campaigns that K-pop fans can easily join.
Yeah, adding to Dayeon, it's more of on how climate crisis has now becoming an issue, not just only for the K-pop fans, but also for the youths, for the vulnerable countries, vulnerable people, and hopefully for those that think this is something that resonates with them, and also they feel like the connections to work with and also to be involved in these activities. We very much welcome you on board to be with us, because again, this is not even if you are not a K-pop fans, like if you love K-drama like me or even K-food like me as well, you can also come and also participate in here, because it's not limited to the K-pop fans, but also to everyone that feels this is an important issues that we can work together and fight for.
Excellent suggestions. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining me. I mean, climate activism and K-pop fandom are indeed two very powerful global movements today. So we certainly look forward to the potential synergy between these two forces in working towards a more sustainable planet. Thank you for your time. Wish you both the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Julie.
Thanks to my guests, Nurul and Dayeon. And thank you all for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this episode. The team behind this podcast is Jacqueline Chen, Joanne Chen, Zion Win, Crispina Robert, and I'm Julie Yu, signing off.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.